Welcome to the world of struggles in life. Trying to convince others, you'll always fail. Don't try it. Practice yourself. It's for yourself. And once they start seeing the change in you, once they start seeing the trajectory of your life, then they'll say, oh wow, she's gaining something, she's moving somewhere we could not go. For example, somewhere around your age only I started meditating in 1976. While I was studying third year of pharmacy in Ahmedabad. My students, fellow colleagues, my friends, they used to make fun of me. He he closes his eyes all the time. I used to sit in a hostel, and I would meditate for about 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. So they would make fun of it because they don't know what one goes through and feels during meditation. But now, when we were almost 25 of us meditating in pharmacy college, and when the professors were seeing the change in our life, they began to see. We didn't have to convince them. They started meditating, including my dean. She is now 99 years old. Now, when you see these students who were meditating then in 1976, and you see their life now, their families now, versus the students who were not meditating, their families, their children, their grandchildren, you see a big difference. I recommend you read a book called Biology of Belief by Dr. Lipton, Brian Lipton. It will teach you all about how our lifestyle impacts our environment, inner environment, how it has impact on our genetic manifestations, and how life changes simply by thoughts. Little by little, how the epigenetic changes occur. So it's a very scientific book, and I highly recommend you all students to study that. See, that's again our ancient system now packaged in a new style. See, I give you an example. He's a doctor, and he did a research. He was earlier a professor in some university in the United States. And he decided to conduct how the external environment changes the genetic manifestation of the embryo growing in mother's womb. Suppose if you are married to a person who is so violent. So she selected some families from Brooklyn who lived in ghetto atmosphere. Ghetto means there is always violence, shooting going on everywhere. You don't know whether your husband will return home or not. And if he returns, he'll be carrying a gun, putting it under his pillow and going to sleep. So imagine a pregnant lady waiting for her husband, not knowing how, in what state of mind he'll be coming. She's always in distress. And if she is pregnant, what happens? Because of that stress, sympathetic nervous system gets activated. Stress hormones gets activated. What happens as a result? The blood flows more in the arms and legs. But it is diverted now, diverted from the stomach area, from the lungs, from the brain. So now what happens? Embryo that is growing within mother, because of that stress, maybe had nothing to do with the outside, but because of the stress hormones, blood also reaches out to the limbs in the embryo. It is diverted from the brain, it is diverted from the lungs and the digestive system. So, a mother's to be who remains under stress, child born will have a lesser developed brain system and lesser developed digestive system. Now, when the brain frontal cortex does not receive enough blood, what happens there? Your thinking ability also gets retarded. Blood rushes more in this amphibian brain. You become more reactive. Such children develop ADHD and reactive brains. So you see, a simple thing like your stress during pregnancy triggers the effect in the future, the children. They have nothing to do with your mother's stress or husband's way of life. And that's why in our Indian traditions, in olden days, moment in-laws they learned that daughter-in-law is pregnant, you know what they used to do? Send her to Maike, means her parents' place, where she can have familiar and peaceful environment, spent in godly prayers, bhajan, kirtan, reading holy books. So she is generally pampered, as they say. And because of this, the parasympathetic system remains very active. Means children born to such mothers will be calm, more intelligent. So stress must be avoided at any cost during, especially during pregnancy. It not only affects you, it affects the future generation also. So you have to remember that. And students trying to meditate to remove stress, I don't recommend. You know, once one professor asked me, my PhD students are getting stressed out because of this. You know, they have these Viva tests before thesis submission. So why you want to remove the stress? Let them go through stress. They deserve it. So why do you say so? I say, look, if students don't get stressed, they will never study. Stress is required. Let them go through hell. They have to study. And if you study, then there will not be stress. But doing meditation will be harmful for your studies. If the only purpose is stress, but meditation can also help you. If you use meditation correctly, it will make you more intuitive and more intelligent, actually.